Hello and welcome to Cherry River Fishing Access Site on the outskirts of Bozeman, Montana. I'm Vicki Saab, a research wildlife biologist with the Rocky Mountain Research Station of the Forest Service here in Bozeman. I've been studying bird populations and their habitats of the western U.S. for nearly 30 years. Today I'll present birding basics at the Cherry River Fishing Access. I will discuss the necessary tools for finding birds and the common species at Cherry River to prepare you for your first successful birding adventure. So let's get started by reviewing the tools that you'll need. First, you'll need a guidebook. There are lots of good guidebooks. My favorite happens to be the National Geographic Birds of North America. Mobile or phone apps are also very useful for identifying birds. The mobile apps come with the advantage of sound clips that you can use to help confirm bird identification. It's best to listen to the recording with some type of earphones to avoid disrupting bird behavior. And of course, you will need a pair of binoculars. They are essential for spotting birds. Kim will demonstrate how to adjust and use binoculars.
Hi, I'm Kim Kotur. I'm going to demonstrate how to use binoculars. Binoculars are essential for spotting birds. These are the eyepieces. You want them pulled out and resting right below your eyebrows if you don't wear glasses. If you do wear glasses, you want them pushed in and resting on the lenses of your eyeglasses. This is the central focusing knob. It focuses both barrels at the same time. Most people who have trouble with their binoculars have not adjusted the diopter knob. This is the diopter knob. You need to start with it set on 0, and I will show you how to focus it. You start by covering up the right lens, either with your hand or the lens cap, and focus on a mid to far distant object like the house across the street in town. You find an object that you can come back to over and over that doesn't move. Focus the left eye on that object using the focus knob. Then you pull the diopter out and cover up the left eyepiece and focus the right eye with the diopter. Then you can push the diopter back in and it will stay in that focus and your binoculars will be set for your eyes. It's important to remember when you want to see a bird, say in the top of a tree, stare at the bird, then bring the binoculars up to your eyes while you continue to stare at the bird. That way, it will be easier to find the bird with the binoculars.
And you'll also need curiosity and patience for successful birding. Both listening and watching are important for spotting birds. You'll want to blend into the environment by wearing neutral colors. You'll do less to scare birds away before you get the chance to watch them. Moving quietly or standing still can help avoid scaring birds. So many birds are migratory and leave during winter. The migrants return for the spring breeding season. So the best time to maximize the number of birds to see in Bozeman is May through July. Early morning or evening hours are the best time of day because that is the time when birds are most active. Cherry River is an excellent location for birding because of the diverse wetland habitats. Wetlands are water-saturated lands that can be considered the kidneys of the landscape. Similar to human kidneys that filter waste from our blood, wetlands have the ability to filter toxins from flowing water. The wetlands at Cherry River include marshland, grassland, and riparian habitats. Riparian areas are adjacent to rivers and streams and often include shrubs and trees. They occupy less than 1% of the landscape in the arid West, yet they provide habitat for the highest bird species diversity among all habitats. When first learning how to find birds, it's best to focus on males because they are typically more colorful and vocal than female birds. To identify birds to species, we need to note their feather or plumage colors in the head, breast, wings, and tail, and pay attention to the relative size and shape of the bill. So let's see what we can find. The first habitat that you will encounter at Cherry River is the cattail marsh. One of the most visible species in this habitat is the yellow-headed blackbird. This blackbird has a bright yellow hood and breast and white wing patches. They have one of the most unique bird calls. A mixture of honking and gurgling noises. Another common bird species in the marshlands is the red-winged blackbird. This species has a jet black body and bright red shoulder patches, edged with yellow on the bottom. A smaller but very vocal species of the marshlands is the marsh wren. A distinguishing characteristic of wrens is that their tails are typically held upright. The marsh wren is a small brown bird with dull underparts, a dark head, and white eyebrows. Their song consists of buzzes and rattles. Marsh wrens anchor their globular nests to reeds and cattails, as do the blackbird species. The common yellowthroat is another species that can be seen in the marshlands at Cherry River. They are a small warbler with olive yellow upper parts and a bright yellow throat and breast, and a very distinguishing head with a thick black mask. They build nests on or near the ground in a dense clump of weeds or grasses. Adjacent to the marshlands, you will see open water. A very common duck species to see in the open water is the mallard. They are identified by their green head, chestnut brown breast, and yellow bill. They feed on aquatic insects in shallow water, and their ground nests are lined with down feathers, usually built by the female. American coot is another common bird of the open water at Cherry River. This species is a chicken-like swimming bird, dark gray to black overall, except for a short white bill. Their nests are built on a shallow platform of stems, usually on water but anchored to a clump of reeds. As we move from the open water to marshy areas at Cherry River, we enter the open, damp grassland habitat. If you listen intently anywhere at Cherry River, you will likely hear the magical primeval calls of the sandhill crane. Sandhill cranes are a large, tall, wading bird with a gray-reddish body and a bright red cap. Like many species using the diverse habitats at Cherry River, they also nest on the ground. This is an important reminder to keep dogs at home or on a leash while you are birding to avoid dog disturbance or destruction of bird nests. The grasslands also provide excellent foraging habitat for the ground-feeding American robin, while they are nesting in the nearby riparian habitat. Moving into riparian vegetation, you'll notice shrubs and trees, which are valuable to a whole nother suite of bird species. You will commonly see American goldfinches in the shrubby portions of the riparian areas where they place their nests. They are a small, noisy finch with a bright yellow body, black cap, black wings, and a black tail. Probably the most common bird of riparian areas of the arid West is the lovely yellow warbler, whose song is a bright, musical, sweet, 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 and sweeter than sweet. This small warbler is brilliant yellow with rust-brown streaks on the breast and sides. They forage for insects in trees and shrubs, and they nest primarily in the shrubs. Foraging on the wing and soaring around the wetlands, you will notice tree swallow, a medium-sized swallow with vivid iridescent blue-green upperparts contrasted with bright white underparts. This species forages in open areas and nests in tree cavities. Tree swallows commonly nest in old woodpecker holes or natural tree cavities, especially in aspens. We hope you enjoyed our virtual bird walk. Let us know what you see and hear on the trail.